Welcome back, everybody. You got Specs here, and today we're going to be talking about my Week 3 match against the Lily Cove Rocks. So we're just going to go into draft. We're going to go into his draft. We're going to go into my team, and then we're going to go into the replay afterwards. So let's get started. All right. So first off, we got Heatran here. Very solid bond, I'd say. You get 2 immunities to fire and poison with Flash Fire, and it's Steel typing. The most common set for Heatran, at least in OU, is Magma Trapping. So, Magma Storm plus Taunt allows you to trap quite a few mons in the tier. Even bulky waters like Toxapex don't even want to try to handle that, just because, if you say knock off Toxapex's Black Sludge or whatever, Magma Storm plus Taunt means you can't recover, and Scald's only doing 24-25% to Heatran, and if Heatran's got his leftovers, that's not going to be too much. And then in the end, you can, as long as you you just trap. You just trap and kill Toxapex. It's definitely one of the best mons at doing that pretty consistently, as long as you land those Magma Storms. It's also got Earth Power as well to deal with coverage. It's got quite a few moves as coverage. You have Earth Power, as I said, Flash Cannon for stab. Dark Pulse and Dragon Pulse are there as well. Ancient Power is there for Moltres, for sure. You will want to use it for that. From other moves, I've seen Body Press and Heavy Slam Heatran. So Heavy Slam was for dealing with stuff like Fable, and then Body Press was for stuff to like Blissey, so to help trap Blissey even better and more consistent. Besides that, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but it gets Stealth Rock, it gets Taunt. I already mentioned Taunt, but Toxic and Will-O-Wisp is also decent as well. And then you also have Roar. I've seen that a couple times as well. Roar spit out Heatran is decently good as well. Lava Plume spreads burns pretty well. Not as good as Scald, but yeah. And then even on the offensive side, you got 130 base special attack, and you got Eruption. Specs Eruption from Heatran is going to be 2-hit KOing stuff like Toxapex and Blissey. So very scary mon. Don't want to be. Actually, I lied. I don't think it 2-hit kills Blissey. And it doesn't 2-hit KO Spit out Toxapex. Definitely 2-hit KOs Fizz that ones though. But yeah, regardless, very, very strong one. Don't want to be fucking around with it. Next up, we got Suicune. Obviously, when everyone thinks about Suicune, the first thing that comes to mind is stuff like Vincoon, like Substitute, Calm Mind, Protect, and Scald, or even Kurokun, the old set, Rest Talk, Calm Mind, Scald. Both very good sets. It's just really good at, PB stalling, and then once it can PB stall all your moves, it can start sweeping with Scalds, and then those getting burns, and then it's setting up Calm Minds. It's very, very scary. You do not want to be messing around with it. Yeah, so it's got those, and then to be honest, besides that, doesn't have too much. You have Roar again, to help phase. I know Roar is used in older gens. I don't know how well it's used in new gens, but it has that. It's got okay move pool, offensive move pool. I already mentioned Scald, which is the main thing. But you have Ice Beam, you got Air Slash, you got Signal being Shadow Ball. It's not too great though, and you really don't want to be using its physical attack because it's just kind of low. Maybe you could use a curse set if you're gonna be that guy. Curse Calm Mind so we can. Oh my god, I shouldn't be giving people ideas. But yeah, it's got Tailwind as well if you want to use something like that. So that's pretty cool as well. Yeah, so pretty solid on overall. Next up we got Entei. Very solid physical attacker with base 115 attack and base 100 speed. You got stuff like Flare Blitz. You got I think Stomping Tantrum. Yeah, I don't know if it gets high. I don't think it gets high horsepower. But you got Stomping Tantrum to cover some of the fire switch-ins. Fire Ground is very good overall. And then I got Stone Edge for flying types. Extreme Speed for priority. Very solid choice man set right there. You could even try to run special. It also gets Eruption, so it's not, due to the high base power, Eruption might not be the worst idea in the world. It also gets Calm Mind too. But yeah, it's pretty decent, I would say. And then we got Raikou, and if you've noticed, my man has drafted all 3 legendary dogs. Let's go. That's pretty cool. Very fast Pokemon, base 115 speed is a very solid speed tier to be at. Base 115 special attack is also very solid as well. It's got decent coverage actually, even after Hidden Power has gone away, because we're not allowed to use Hidden Power in this draft league, even though it is technically National Dex. It's got Skull and it's got Aura Sphere since it came back, which is good enough to deal with some ground types that it would struggle to beat without HP Ice. So it's really good for it. Something like a Calm Mindset with like Thunderbolt, Skulls, and Aura Sphere is really good already. You can even run Specs, change out Calm Mind for Volt Switch. That's also a decently good option as well. It's very, very good in that regard. And if you want to try running some sort of weather, you could try using Weather Ball or something like that, or even more additional coverage. Pretty solid mon. Next up, we got Kartana. Definitely like one of his Lily Coat Lycanroc's most offensive options here. It's like one of his best options too, because Kartana's busted, dude. Just like a simple Scarf Set, Leaf Blade, Smart Strike, Sacred Sword, and Knockoff. If you don't got any Steel Flying types, you're in big trouble, because this thing will just run you over immediately. Of course, the Scarf Set has a lot of prediction involved, but even without the Scarf Set, you can run Swords Dance Life Orb. That thing can even break through stuff like the Steel Flying types, the aforementioned Steel Flying types. Very, very threatening in that regard. Of course, its special defense really bad. Any decently strong special attack will kill it, but at the same time, one of the highest base attack stats in the game. Good defense. So you can swap in on physical hits. If they're not like strong neutral hits, like if you can resist them, like you can actually switch on them pretty easily. People are kind of underrate that side of Kartana. And then base 109 speed is also a very solid speed tier. Very good speed tier for Scarfing. At least in OU. Maybe in draft league it might be. No, I think it's still a very solid Scarfing in that regard. Very solid mon in that regard. But it's all offense, no defense. But just keep that in mind. You do have like stuff like Tailwind. You might be able to run like a Fizz-Def set with Synthesis, but like I feel like it'd just be better if you're just clicking moves, taking lives. I feel like that's kind of the ideal Kartana situation. Next up, you got Mienshao. Regenerator's pretty good. Reckless is not too good, and Irrever's not too good either. But Reckless is only really used with High Jump Kick, which can do some pretty solid damage. But overall Regenerator, it's one of the best abilities in the game. You'll probably want to be using it. I guess a pretty solid set. Maybe like AV or Life Orb, even Scarf. Mienshao would be good. Base 105 speed is pretty decent, and 125 attack is really good too. It's got decent coverage as well. Close combat, knockoff. You got Blaze Kick. You got, I think it's got Stone Edge as well. Yeah, it does. Oh, you can even run Sword Dance as well. It's pretty cool. And then it's got Toxic, got Taunt, got U-Turn. Pretty good utility moves there. Even Fake Out might be good if you like combine it with like T-Spikes. I think like that'd be pretty cool. This guy doesn't have T-Spikes next to that, so very solid offensive one. And next up we got Espeon. Magic Bounce, obviously very, very good. It's also a very strong and fast special attacker. Besides that, though, there isn't much to say, unfortunately. What I said was good stuff, though, to be fair. It's just like, there's not much else besides that. I guess you could run Heal Ball if you wanted to try some sort of utility or Cleric set, but, it's some defensive stats they're not that great, obviously. 65 HP is not good, 60 defense is even worse. 95 special defense is pretty decent, but, you're gonna have to invest heavily in the HP and special defense in order to take special hits pretty well. It does get Morning Sun, so it does have instant recovery, so that's decent for it as well. Magic Coat's completely useless. You can run. Its physical. Its offensive move pool is like not that great, unfortunately. It got Psychic, you got Shadow Ball, but no Focus Blast to deal with Steel types or anything like that. You got Dazzling Gleam to deal with Dark types at least, though, or Signal Beam if you want to use that. But Trick is also good as well. You can trick its Choice Scarf onto some defensive wall. It'd be decent. Next up we got Mega Alt. Very, very scary mon. It can run quite a few things. It's probably one of the best megas you could draft, like a lower tier mega that you could draft. Dragon Dance is obviously like one thing that comes to mind. That pixelate boosted body slams with double edges, very scary. You got Earthquake as coverage as well. Um, on the special side as well, you got pixelate boosted Hyper Voice. You got Draco Meteor. You got Flame Thrower. Very very solid there. And then even it's got a cleric set too. It's got Roost. It's got, pretty sure it's get Heal Bow. Yes, it does get Heal Bow. Yeah, so it's very solid on that front as well. It's very versatile mega, and obviously with its spread stat, like very even stat distribution, you can do a lot of stuff with that as well. So very solid mon. Next up, we got Crustle. Got a lot of hazards to offer. I think. Does it get? I know it gets Stealth Rock. I'm not sure about anything else though. Oh, it does get Spikes. Does it get Toxic? It doesn't get Toxic. But again, it gets Stealth Rock, it gets Spikes. I'm pretty sure it doesn't get Sticky Web, but correct me if I'm wrong. And then also, obviously, you can use that as your Shell Smasher. Shell Smash plus, like, something like Stone Edge, X-Scissor, Earthquake. It could be pretty solid as well. With Sturdy, they can help set up even better. So, go with that. Pretty high defense too, so you can use some sort of body press set as well. That could definitely be useful. And it's got knockoff for item removal. Yeah, very solid one. Next up, we got the boy, a B-Barrel. Cannot use movie, I'm pretty sure, so that's good. But simple, you can use something like a Swords Dance simple set. I remember I was reading a Reddit post, and this guy was like trying to justify using B-Barrel in Gen 7 OU. Offered some pretty cool cows, like +3 quick attack was like killing a lot of stuff, and +3 aqua jet was killing even more stuff. And you got return or double edge on the last slot to kill like the more defensive mons. Because Swords Dance was simple, boosted by 4 instead of by 2, which is really good. But very mediocre stats unfortunately. Base 85 attack is kind of its best one, but even then that's not really that impressive, unfortunately. Offers a ghost immunity at the very least, so that's cool. But besides that cool like gimmick Swords Dance simple set, there's not too much to offer, unfortunately. You could try some sort of utility set with Thunder Wave and Super Fang, I guess. That could be decent. Or Yawn as well. And then the last one, we got the Bite. Could be cool. Unfortunately, stats aren't that great. It's got an okay speed tier, okay attack. Not a good special attack there, so it won't be used directly or anything like that. But yeah, it's not that good, unfortunately. It's no Garchomp, obviously. It probably could be decently bulky with Eviolite though, so maybe I'm underrating it a little bit. Maybe some sort of like pseudo tank chomp set, but no Rocky Helmet, obviously. You're just gonna be using Eviolite, and then you're gonna use Rough Skin and Stealth Rock and Toxic and all that type of stuff. Yeah, that could be decent. Alright, so that's his draft. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the team that I built for him. So right off the bat, I noticed that Kartana was a very ginormous threat. So I wanted to have something to do with that, and my solution was my boy Beware, the god himself. Yeah, so Fluffy lets you take half damage from contact and is very, very good for that. So, I know he has multiple fire types, but I was just hoping like maybe I can deal with him with my other mons, right? So hopefully that's fine. So Fluffy plus Rocky Helmet, Kartana, Sacred Sword, Choice Scarf Sacred Sword doing like 25%, +2 Life Orb Sacred Sword, 70%, not much, and then I'm gonna hit it back with that Drain Punch, get a nice. Actually, I don't beat it 1-for-1. But with Rocky Helmet plus the Drain Punch damage, which is around like 60-70%, I will be able to revenge kill it with other stuff. Or at least that was the plan, kind of. Actually, I can't really revenge kill it on my team unless it's not Choice Scarf. But that's besides the point. Who cares? Yeah, and then I just ran Toxic, Double Edge, and Earthquake. So Double Edge just general coverage. Earthquake was just stuff like he ran and Entei, which he had. Toxic was definitely for him last weekend, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, pretty solid mod. Next up, we got the Bronzong. I brought Iron Defense and Body Press with Heat Proof. So basically, Heat Proof was pretty obvious considering how many fire moves he had access to. It's like, yeah, I'm not running Levitate. I also have Rotom Wash and Lander Steering. If I need to switch into ground moves, I can use those. Um, yeah, but Bronzong is my check to Mega Altaria, and with Iron Defense and Body Press, it could take hits from Entei, start stacking up those Iron Defenses, setting up, even all against Kartana as well. If I get an Iron Defense off before Kartana comes in, then Knockoff's not going to be doing much. I can kill it with that +2 Body Press. Actually, I don't know if it kills +2 Body Press, but yeah. Gyro Ball is for Mega Alt, Earthquake is for T-Ren. So yeah. Next up, we got Rotom Wash. I decided to run double status. I was like, screw it. He's not breaking Hazard. I didn't actually. I was just like at the point. I was like, because this team is kind of scary, honestly. Like Suicune plus Kartana is kind of just like I don't like that. And then Heron as well. It's very solid Fire Water Grass cores. And it's like, so Toxic Wisp. Wisp was just stuff like Kartana if he tried to overprotect or something, or if I switched in on like a Smart Strike or whatever, I could get that burn, it'd be really nice. Toxic is just stuff like Suicune, and then I have Voltage and Hydro Pump to stab. So if you looked at his team after his Mega Evolve, he has no ground immunities, and no ground resist for that matter. So I was like, I'm very obviously going to be using a Scarf EQ Landorus, because that's going to be taking names, taking lives. It's going to be very, very nice for me. So I just ran Earthquake, Knockoff, U-Turn. I didn't need Stone Edge, because I felt like if he even brought Mega Ult to begin with, he's not going to leave it on Mega for very long. So who cares? I'm just going to be using Earthquake on it once it Mega Evolves. And that last move I brought, it was Super Powered. So Superpower lets me have a chance to OHKO Kartana from full. So that was kind of the reason why I had that. Yeah, not much to explain here. I didn't run too much speed. I just ran enough to outspeed his Raikou after the Scarf. But basically just because if I ran max speed Lando, the only thing I'd be outspeeding that can boost at that point would be +1 Mega Altaria, and the next Pokemon I can do with that, so I didn't really care too much. And then any other Scarfers he could use, I would be outsped anyway, so might as well have some HP investment. So next up, we got the Mega Bee. We know him, you love him. Today I just ran the most standard Mega Beedrill set you could, because I need a drill run for Heat Ran. So I didn't run him on Substitute or whatever, and give up on any of the other moves either. U-Turn, Knockout, Poison Jet, drill run, and I made it jolly just so I could outspeed the +1 Mega Alt that I was talking about earlier. I outspeeded by exactly 1 point actually, so that's pretty funny. Last up, we got Sub-Roost Heatran, the absolute god tier goat. Very interesting EV spread. The 200 lets you break a Suicune sub after it's gone up to +2. I have enough speed to outspeed max speed Suicune. I got enough, and then the rest is just into HP. Freeze Dry, Earth Power, obviously I need Freeze Dry for stuff like Suicune, and then Earth Powers are there for stuff like Heatran and Entei. So yeah, and obviously I'm going to be running Boots because I don't have removal, so I want to make sure I can stay on the field for a long time. So yeah, with that, let's get into the battle. Let me switch sources right here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so looking at the matchup. He didn't bring Mega All back, honestly, and I was just very surprised, because I feel like Mega All was pretty scary. If he got up 2 Dragon Dances, which, he could have, maybe. He switched in. Actually, no, probably not. Well, no, if he switched in on my Beware, maybe he could have gotten 2 Dragon Dances up, because maybe I was too scared of switching. But, yeah, no Mega Ult's pretty good for me. He did bring Kartana and Suicune. Not something that I really like, but, we're just gonna have to deal with it. So let's let me talk about the lead matchup. So from lead, I'm just hey, guess what? Scarf Heat Ran outspeeds and kills everything here that doesn't have a boost in its speed. So it doesn't kill everything. It doesn't kill Kartana and Suicune. But if Kartana comes in, I have Superpower that has a chance to kill, so I would go for that. And Suicune, yeah, obviously I'm just gonna U-turn, and you're still gonna be doing a lot. So yeah, so I was Lando-T, very obviously the lead here. We see that they lead Mienshao and then I just immediately kill it with Earthquake. So super fun in that regard. Sent out Suicune, yeah, that's the right move, obviously. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go to Rotom here. I think he just called Mines if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So here I was like, he might be Rinkun, so you know I'm gonna just Volt Switch, obviously, because I don't want to stay in. I'm pretty sure Volt Switch actually breaks a +1 Suicune, so like I thought a lot about this. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I made my Rotom do that. So there's that. So but he just Calm Minds again. That was like, oh shoot, my battery is running low. Hold up a second, I need to plug in my charger. Oh god, I didn't realize my computer was unplugged. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I was saying. He just Calm Minds again. I'm like, wow, this guy's just playing. Oh yeah, by the way, you don't see the chat logs, but you don't see pressure from the Suicune, so he doesn't have pressure. He's Inner Focus, which is like, why in the hell would you be running Inner Focus? You know, I don't even run mons that have like Fake Out or whatever. Like, there's no real sense of running that. But anyway, he stays in, and I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. Why'd you do that? I just go to Kieran here, because you know I resist Scald and whatnot, so should be fine. Then it's revealed, so Fury Shot does a decent amount. I got the lowest possible roll on that, by the way. And then he reveals Ice Beam, and I'm just like, okay, so he's Ice Beam, so he might not even have Substitute to begin with. He reveals Protect here, like, okay, sure. And then I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna start chipping it down. He's gonna go for another Calm Mind. He's just going for it, dude. He's going for sweep turn 1, you know. I go hard Rotom here. Ice Beam's not doing too much, and then he protects here, and I reveal that I have Toxic. I think that his play is so obviously Espeon, right? Because just like, you know, Espeon doesn't even take that much hits from Volt Switch or Hydro Pump anyways, because, you know, it has okay special defense. But like, he decides he's not buying it. He immediately just stays in and just clicks Skull. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about my Rotom with its Toxic. So I Volt Switch there just because, like, I felt like it was a very obvious play just to go into your Magic Bath Espeon and bounce the Toxic back. But I guess not. This guy just doesn't want to switch. He just does not want to switch. He wants to stay in, get that kill. He wants to sweep me from turn 1. So I'm just like, okay, you know what? Since I'm here, I might as well get that Mega B in here, get that Mega Evolve real quick. U-turn does a bunch. You know, this point, Suicune's way too low to do any sort of sweep. Any sort of physical attack will deal with that at this point. So on this one, I'm just like, I'm just gonna spam. I think I subbed once, but like after I sub and roost once a couple times, but after that, I just spam Freeze Dry. You know, I'm just like, at this point, like, bro, if you're just gonna let your Suicune die, that's fine. So obviously, I'm not gonna kill it with Kyurem, but like, I'm just gonna get it low enough such that literally anything else will kill it at this point. So we're just gonna skip a couple turns. It doesn't really matter. And okay, so yeah, at this point, you know, I get Suicune all the way down to 6%, and then obviously I die to Ice Beam because he's at +6. But you know, at this point, anything can kill it at this point. And now he was Inner Focus. Yeah, that's how I knew. At that time I knew, because I wasn't paying attention to my PB drops, but also I wasn't reading the chat. But anyway, so at this point, Landorus is gonna get itself a nice kill, as long as, even if Kartana's scarfed, Kartana is going to die after the second Earthquake, so it doesn't even matter. So if it switches in hard, so Suicune goes for a Protect. It's not going to help it at all. He needs to get like 5 Protects in a row in order to get any sort of health and needed to live an Earthquake. I kill it with that. Goes Espeon for some reason. I kill that too. Yeah, these next 2 switches makes no sense. Like, I'm sorry. If you had Air Balloon Heat Tread, makes sense. If you had a Scarf Espeon, doesn't even make that much sense, but okay. Like, at least you get damage. Like, he should have immediately got Kartana. I don't know why he decided to go to any of these other mons first. Like, even if, I think I still killed, like, Heatran through Shuka Berry, even if he had that. So, like, I was really confused with those 2 turns. Goes Kartana. At this point, I'm kind of feeling bad. Like, obviously my play should be switching to Beware here, but, like, at this point, I was just like, you know what, it's fine. So I just let him knock off my Choice Scarf. I go Beware this turn, though. It's just like, might as well. Because Leaf Blade would have killed me at that range. And then, yeah, obviously Beware taking names, kicking ass, taking lives. At this point, it's pretty hard for an Entei to win. If it's Scarf, first off, Viewer just 1v1s it like the champion is, taking those fire moves like it's nothing. Oh my god, I love Viewer. Yeah, so my Viewer just 1v1'd it with Rocky coming in and play super good there. But yeah, I think that my opponent had a chance with better prep. So I think Mega Alt should have been something he brought. I think, like honestly, like something like, I think Entei was a decent bring. I think Suicune and Cortana obviously. Mian Xiao is alright, but since I always had a Lando, like Lando kind of switches in on most things Mian Xiao does, so I was a little bit surprised by that. It is decent. It does have a decent matchup against the rest of my team, so that's not that bad. Espeon though, like, I guess Espeon also had a decent. You know what? Maybe he didn't need to bring Mega Ult, but I feel like Mega Ult was a better choice than one of the either Espeon or Mian Xiao. And then I think he could have played some sequences better. If he kept his Suicune for later in the game, I think it could have been much more threatening. Getting rid of my Rotom and my Kyurem, which is not too hard given how I need to switch in Kyurem and Rotom on some things. Definitely was feasible, because like Rotom was like 100% needed to deal with the fire types, right? Because that's one of my few fire resists. So like I feel like he could have worn my Rotom out really quickly, and then later could have brought out Suicune to sweep. Like I don't understand why he just tried to sweep me turn 1. I don't think that was the right play. And then there was the couple turns where he sent out Espeon and Heatran instead of Cortana immediately on my Scarf Landorus. Like, he said in the chat earlier, like, he knew it was Adamant Scarf Landorus, and then he decided to go to Heatran and Espeon anyway. Like, if you're not Choice Scarf, like, what are you doing here? I was outspeeded by Scarf Heatran, max speed Scarf Heatran, by the way. So, like, but he wasn't Scarf on any of them. So I was a little bit confused about that. Yeah, I think my opponent had a better chance, or at least could have made the differential much more close. But yeah, in the end, we're up 4-0 on this on the Loco Lycanrocs, and yeah, I don't know where that puts me on the draft league, but because I wasn't paying attention. But that was a good battle. GG's my opponent, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.